Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to speak to these rules, the honor to bear witness to these oaths, and to be with you here today. When we listen to the daily invocations, they are passages of poetry. They are religious verse. They are tales from an oral tradition. They are songs. Never have I ever heard voices lifted in favor of acrimony or division. It's always a voice calling us to act, to incline ourselves, to lean into the better angels of our nature, to transcend partisanship, to conduct ourselves faithfully, to live out the words established in our Oregon Constitution and the Constitution of the United States. As our Senate President likes to say, the first branch of government established by the Oregon Constitution is the Legislative Assembly. Specifically, in Article IV Section I, the Oregon Constitution speaks to the legislative power of the state being vested in the Oregon Senate and the House. From our Constitution in Article IV Section XVII, each House shall have all powers necessary for a chamber of the legislative branch of a free and independent state. The Constitution also prescribes how the Senate works during this very opening day of the Legislative Assembly. And in the same article, Article IV, Section 11, specifically allows us to determine the rules of proceeding which we are engaged in discussion today. On this day, we have traveled from every part of the state to give voice to the over 4 million Oregonians for whom we serve. Each of us has a constitutional right and obligation to speak for the nearly 150,000 Oregonians that reside in our Senate districts. Through our elections, they have empowered us to govern on their behalf. They have entrusted us to make decisions about the future for themselves and their families. We are here today to do the work, to show up, to show how we function. As witnessed in that mural above us, vested in the authority of an act of Congress in 1859 and granted statehood as the 33rd state of our constitutional democracy. The proposed rules before you today are a pure exercise of the function of the Oregon Constitution to this legislature. We are setting the ground rules for how to represent all Oregonians in political exchange, how we can weave a tapestry of laws from various ideological and political positions. For as we are seemingly reminded daily, we are a nation of laws, a representative and constitutional expression of the rule of law in a democracy. Our rules that govern our assembly have been developed and honed over many years through debate. And from time to time, they change to adapt to current circumstances. I don't think the original adopters of our Constitution would know what to make of Rule 6.02, the decorum section on the use of cell phones and computers, or would what to know what to do with Rule 14.20, the timing on when you can email your constituents about an upcoming Zoom town hall. Obviously, the key provisions that concern us today in this 66-page document relate to the functioning of our democracy, our public health, and open deliberation over the next few months. As this year, the first year since 1919, the Oregon Legislative Assembly must do its work during a global pandemic. Our work is essential. The people that work in this Capitol building are critical, and we owe it to them and to the public we serve to conduct the affairs of state as safely as we can. This wretched disease has stripped us of the lives of too many loved ones, including friends and family of fellow senators who serve with us today. In advance of this session, I did a look-in on legislatures across the country and the modifications they are making to their legislative sessions to carry out their constitutional responsibilities while also protecting the public from this horrific disease. The rules we are considering today are perfectly consistent with that frame that legislatures across our nation are grappling with as they deliberate on issues and protect the public health. Finally, Mr. President, as we deliberate and discuss today, I want to say something about the special nature of public debate under our session rules, especially for our newest members here. The rules of this Senate don't just talk to decorum in terms of where we stand on the floor or what committees we serve on, or the right to introduce legislation or how that legislation is to be considered. They speak to who we are, how we conduct ourselves, how we model our democracy for our children and everyone in our communities and for the future of Oregon. You have taken your oaths. You are part of this history. And I'll tell you right now, Mr. President, I'm a people person. And I miss you all. I miss my colleagues who drive from the California border or over 2 mountain ranges, or sometimes have to fly from another time zone, from another state. And certainly not because I agree with you all the time, but because I respect you. I respect your perspectives. I respect the job that you do. I respect the sacrifices you make to do this work, this labor of love. Your commitment to Oregonians is unquestionable in my eyes, to represent constituents who have as much right to be heard from their duly elected senators from any zip code. Today, I want you to know that you have my oath, that consistent with these rules today, your character, your values, your perspectives will not be impugned. It is in the times of crisis that we show up. We learn who we are, and we ask ourselves questions. Can we show up for Oregon? Can we test our mettle? Do we have the courage to show that there is more that unites us than divides us? There is more than ideology or party. There is our common humanity. To live out the words in the preamble of the Oregon Constitution. We, the people of the state of Oregon, to the end that justice be established, order maintained, and liberty perpetuated, do ordain this Constitution. In the light of this raging virus and the rules we consider today, let me finally offer, this too shall pass. Thank you, Mr. President. I encourage your support of the Senate rules for the 81st Oregon Legislative Assembly.